Was wonderful. You know, he was, I think he was the social doyen of Boulder in the early 80s. He was the party giver. You know, he was sort of the Wallace Simpson, the Elsa Maxwell, the Billy DeWolf or Billy Brandon DeWild. I don't know, any of those people. He was it. And he gave great parties. He brought people together. Yeah, chubby little kid from Pittsburgh.
And then he grew gradually out of that.
But,
yeah. Which I was
after
so happy for.
I know, and you saw confidence there, and you know, and aplomb, and talent. He was a talented person. No, absolutely, and he became, you know, one of your and my very best friends. But I remember meeting him. His parties were legendary. I remember hearing, oh, he has these great parties. These Halloween parties, and they're amazing and they're incredible, and I just felt privileged to be invited to them.
Of course, the stereo was blasting through the entirety of the party with various kinds of music, quite a range, in fact. The video was set up in monitors and cameras in every room so that everyone everywhere could enjoy everything going on, whether public or private.
It was definitely about gay people, you know, feeling comfortable with ourselves for the first time in a social setting, you know, and actually going beyond that and celebrating who we were. And that's what Dave really, I think, brought to the table. It's just, we were products of our time, you know, the 70s. While there was maybe a superficial liberalism in a town like Boulder, it really wasn't all that, you know, welcome. It wasn't that easy for us. I'd gone to one of those BGL, Boulder Gay Liberation meetings, and then I didn't go back. But then I traveled a lot. I spent a lot of time traveling. I went on semester at sea, went around the world. I'd gone to Russia. And that actually really gave me the confidence when I came back to Boulder to say, I am who I am.
This is how one feels when they're on camera on national TV. Only when one has nothing to say. Hi, we're on the street interviewing people and asking their opinions. Sir, go ahead.
You know, so I think it's kind of historic, and we were lucky that Dave was such not only a great party giver and a great person, but a videographer, you know, who captured all this.
Well, certainly he probably was ahead of his time with that.
Oh yeah,
His fascination.
Before, I mean, remember,
and one sees this. A viewer will see this in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we're
the multi-channel.
Oh yeah. As opposed to today, where it's so easy with cell phones and iPhones and video cameras and everything all over the place. But then it was a huge deal to have that equipment and that kind of setup, absolutely. And of course, we were unconscious, really, of the fact that we were being videoed and that this was being captured for posterity, which makes it kind of even more special, maybe.
Now, in some of the scenes that we will witness of you in this movie, you are wearing a white hat and a lovely gown, and you're with a young man.
One of the parties was a Halloween party, and I went as Farah Diba, and then recently deposed Empress of Iran. So I was making a political statement circa 1981 about the hostage crisis, and that was kind of my solidarity with the Carter administration, you know? Yeah. Trauma, and that's why I was Farah Diba. The other one, I was wearing a white dress. That was a Valentine's party. And Keith, my friend Keith, who's in there with me, who was really cute, adorable, you know, half Japanese, half Italian guy, who was, you know, just beautiful combination. And he's now passed away. Sadly, died a couple of years ago from. He was really healthy, but he was running and had a heart attack and died. But which makes it all the more poignant actually to see these films. But he and I just thought we would go and drag to that party, just to sort of just for really just a lark. And I remember driving over to his house from my mother's house in Fraser Meadows in Boulder, wearing this dress partially put on with all this makeup, and like driving through town and people stopping at stoplights looking at me, and they enjoyed it though. I think they, people appreciated it, and Boulder was changing, and I think things were changing, and so it was okay for this goofy 20-year-old to be driving across town wearing a white dress.
Yeah.
For somebody who didn't live through that time, and not that it was, in some ways it wasn't that long ago, in some ways it was a long time ago, but I think it would be to just appreciate that there were a lot of young people coming together for the first time, really feeling, liberated, really, actually. That was also, those parties were just before the HIV crisis hit the gay community, so that was a really kind of special time, I think, and maybe a naive time, for many of us. And I think that's what you sort of appreciated, that there's a naivete and an innocence there, and yet an exuberance and a celebration that had not been possible really just a few years before that, probably.
Yeah.
Testing. Testing. Here we go.
Booth number 4, Glory Hole. You never wore that cap before. What's the matter? Incest?
His best. Do you like my gloves?
Those earrings are darling.
Aren't they fun? I picked them up in Paris.
Paris?
Gay Paris.
You're gay Paris?
Gay Paris.
Paris.
Yes.
Paris. You Iranians never could.
Let's do slip.
This is first position.
This. I love that leather coat. Okay.
Second position.
Honey, let's do slip for Freddy.
Now don't burn the carpet. Now, that is third position. So unattractable.
Too much trouble.
No, you don't want to do it.
So unattractable. She doesn't know what she's singing. She's just a whore. I've never been one before. She's just a boy. You wanna talk to this whore? But I know what's in store anymore for this whore.
I'll make a slip and throw all that shit.
Would you like a slit to fit?
No.
These are slit to fits. It's a spontaneous.
So unattractable. My funny Valentine. My.
I'm gonna slice your throat. Mellow out. No problem.
She won't cut your tits. She's done this to me a million times.
A million times, honey.
You want down the collar though.
Now there you are. He's set to hit the town.
Now you're getting there. You turn around at the back is the best, because you can do things on the back.
Oh boy, wait till
You can
Paris
never
finds
face,
out about
you know?
that. Wait till Paris finds out.
Slit the Fits by Cass.
Love to love you, baby.
We ought to really have to invite Dolores tonight.
Oh, really? What's she do?
White face.
Black and white. What is Dolores? Well, this is Chris and this is Pat. My Chris and this is David, my roommate, and he's the one with all the Hall China. And this is the one with all the rose.
Ooh, Roseville.
Facts about it.
Exactly the way I feel about it.
It's just very Episcopalian type China. We like more, you know.
No, do you have any
Well, no, not Cadillac. It just be white, white porcelain. But yeah, I really do like this earring. It is kind of festive.
And just for posterity, this was an outfit, one of the outfits I wore to one of David's Halloween parties. It was called the Silver Swan. It was, you needed an electric plug, so I had to go stand in a corner to plug it in and remained there. Also, it had a pulley attached to the shoulder, which elevated the swan's neck up and down.
I think it's kind of historic, and we were lucky that Dave was such, not only a great party giver and a great person, but a videographer, you know, who captured all this.
Well, certainly he probably was ahead of his time with that.
Oh yeah, before, I mean, remember...
And one sees this, a viewer will see this.
Yeah, I mean, we're...
The multi-channel.
Oh yeah. As opposed to today, where it's so easy with cell phones and iPhones and video cameras and everything all over the place. But then it was a huge deal to have that equipment and that kind of setup, absolutely. And of course, we were unconscious, really, of the fact that we were being videoed and that this was being captured for posterity, which makes it kind of even more special, maybe.
Fort bien, qui celui-ci, fort bien, elle frappe à 3 fois dans les mains. Et la dame de la maison se demande encore pourquoi elle trouva ce matin-là un joli petit carafon blotti tout contre la carafe, ainsi cousu.
It was a celebration of who we were, and we just all had a fabulous, incredible time.